Good morning, my name is Costanza Jacazio and I'm a gas market specialist at the International Energy Agency based in Paris. I'm delighted to have been invited by the Spanish Energy Club to give presentations on the key findings on the medium-term gas market report, which was released back in early June. The report covers the period up to 2021 and looks at the major developments and key emerging trends in global gas demand, supply and trade. There are numerous interesting points and key messages that come out of the report, which I hope you will have the time to dig into. But for the benefit of time, I will cover just three key points. First, global gas demand growth is set to weaken significantly compared to the recent past. We forecast global gas demand to increase by an annual average of 1.5%, which is substantially weaker than the 2.5% recorded between 2009 and 2015 and the 2.2% recorded over the prior 10 years. So what is really behind the weakening outlook? Now, I think it's important to notice that part of the weakness, it's not specific to gas, but relates to broader developments in the global energy complex, and in particular is linked to the substantial deceleration in primary energy demand growth, which it's due to a number of structural cyclical factors ranging from the economic and energy transformation in China, the substantial deceleration in economic activity from energy-intensive economies such as Russia and the Middle East, and the by now quite evident decoupling between electricity generation growth and economic activity of advanced economy. Because of this, it's not just gas consumption that slows down, but coal and oil demand also weakens. This means that by 2021, we still expect gas to maintain its market share in the global energy mix. On the other hand, there are factors which impact gas demand specifically, particularly in the power sector, where gas does face a very tough competition due to low coal prices on the one hand and the continued strong deployment of renewables on the other. The second point, which I like to highlight against the backdrop of this weakening demand, is the expected surge in LNG supplies. We forecast global LNG liquefaction capacity to increase by a massive 45% between 2015 and 2021. And because so much of this capacity is either underpinned by long-term capacity reservation contracts or is at an advanced stage of development, the likelihood of substantial delays in the execution of these projects is actually quite limited. So we expect, by and large, the bulk of this capacity to be online by the end of the forecast period 2021. So these opposite dynamics are weakening demand on the one hand and a surge in global LNG supplies on the other point to a period of oversupply in global energy markets and continued pressure on global gas prices. So the key question from a trade perspective is how will the market clear and who will absorb all these incremental supplies? And this leads to the third point which I like to make, which is we should expect substantial changes in trade partners across the globe. So imports from Japan and Korea, which account for half of global energy trade, are actually set to stagnate or decelerate significantly, depending on the speed of the return on nuclear capacity. But even a stagnation would be a substantial weakening compared to the recent 5 years when the combined imports from Japan and Korea account for more than 40% of global energy imports. Imports in Europe are set to increase, but again, there is a limit to the absorption capacity of the region due to strong competition from Russian flows on the one hand and continued weak demand and low coal prices on the other. Latin America and the Middle East offer pockets of growth, but can hardly be seen as home destination markets for baseload LNG flows. This means that gas demand in Asia, it's going to be the key balancing factor for the market, and how fast the market clear really will depend on the rate of strength, on the strength of Asian demand, particularly China and developing Asia. It's undeniable that the region has a very strong demand growth potential. It's undeniable that the region has a very strong demand growth potential, but to unlock it, we require substantial progress in the market regulation, in environmental regulation, and the build-out of energy infrastructure. We do expect that to occur. We do expect the region to accelerate its rate of LNG intakes, but clearly this remains one of the major uncertainties for the outlook. I could go on forever, but I will stop here. I hope you had the time to read the report, and I hope you will find it interesting and useful. Thank you very much for listening.